Hello, chismosas y chismosos. Welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, former paralegal, current stay-at-home mom, lifelong lover of true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is advised. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. Curtis Dean Anderson was born on April 19, 1961 at Vallejo General Hospital to Corinne and Howard Anderson. His parents divorced when he was 17. His father was a raging alcoholic who would abuse him, his siblings, and his mother. Curtis dropped out of school in the ninth grade. He was convicted of armed robbery at the age of 15 following burglary and motorcycle theft charges, and he was placed on probation in 1976. After that armed robbery and kidnapping charges, the judge dismissed the kidnapping charge, but the armed robbery charge stuck, and he was sent to the California Youth Authority for a 90-day evaluation. He was sent to a transitional housing for troubled teens in Palo Alto. His juvenile probation ended in July of 1978. In October of 1978, he racked up 30 counts of juvenile misconduct, of loitering, obstructing an officer, possession of marijuana, burglary, resisting arrest, discharging a firearm, and a high-speed chase with CHP. These charges sent him back to the California Youth Authority for 36 months and was released on July 12th of 1979. In 1980, 19-year-old Curtis Dean Anderson was arrested in Fairfield for assaulting two men, Reynaldo Tamayo and Carlos Hernandez, with a pipe. His co-defendant in the case, Michael Moya, pleaded guilty, and Curtis went to trial on August 5th of 1980, where his charges were acquitted. Curtis Dean's life of crime somehow landed him two, albeit failed relationships, and produced two kids. He got married in 1981, had a son, and divorced in 1984. In 1985, he had a relationship with another woman and produced another son. In 1985, Curtis sexually assaulted a sex worker with a Coke bottle. In April of 1986, he was sentenced to 16 months in prison by a Napa County Court judge for receiving stolen property. In November of 1986, he was released. Within 9 months, in May of 1987, he was back, sentenced to 9 months by a Solano County judge for another stolen property conviction, after police searched his mother's Howard Street home in Vallejo and found this felon in possession of a firearm on January 6, 1987. In January of 1988, he was out on parole, and between then and 1992, the restrictions of his parole were violated 4 times. On Halloween of 1991, he kidnapped his best friend's wife, Dina Ray Stansbury. Curtis Dean's brother was the best man at Ron and Dina Stansbury's wedding. Curtis called Dina and asked her to pick him up from his mother's Howard Street home in Vallejo and take him to his job in Fairfield. When she picked him up, he put a gun to her head and told her to drive to Canada. They made a pit stop at Wells Fargo in Marysville, California, where he forced her to cash a $40 check. They were also stopped in the city of Weed by California CHP for erratic driving. A ticket was issued and Dina was told to take over the driving. In Oregon, they stopped for gas at a rest stop, and as Curtis slept, Dina escaped, ran into a truck driver, and asked for help and the police. On November 1st of 1991, Curtis was arrested by Oregon State Troopers for kidnapping 25-year-old Dina Ray Stansbury from Vallejo, California. After his trial for this incident in April of 1992, a jury found Curtis not guilty for kidnapping and robbery, but did find him guilty for theft, assault, and false imprisonment. He was sentenced to 6 years and 8 months in prison. He was released in May of 1999, and his probation ended on November of 1999, 1 month before Zeana Fairchild was abducted. He was sentenced in April of 1992 to 6 years and 8 months for false imprisonment and vehicle theft. In August of 1995, after serving 3 years and 7 months, he was let out on parole. In October of 1995, 2 months go by and he is back in prison for violating his parole. In 1997, his girlfriend reported Curtis had beat her up and sexually abused her 11-year-old and 7-year-old daughters in San Jose, California. A Santa Clara County judge granted her a restraining order against Curtis Dean Anderson, but the district attorney at the time declined to file charges. In April of 1999, he locked a woman in a closet at a party after she turned him down for sex. The San Jose police said the 32-year-old woman he locked in a closet at a party waited a month to report him and had not, and I quote, directly threatened her, unquote. He was released from San Quentin in May of 1999. His parole ended in November 21st of 1999, just 1 month before he took Zeana Fairchild. On December 9th of 1999, this real-life Kukui kidnapped, raped, and murdered Zeana Fairchild. People who knew Curtis said that after his motorcycle accident in 1999, he bumped his head and went crazy. But clearly, he had been doing bad things before this incident. So yeah, in February of 2000, Curtis took a girlfriend on a 2-month-long cross-country road trip, and the woman has not been seen since. When Curtis was asked, he said he and this girlfriend got into an argument in Louisiana, where she walked away, left her clothes, and took his Walkman. For those who don't know what a Walkman is, it's a portable CD player before streaming music was available. On August 10th of 2000, this real-life Kukui kidnapped and raped Mitzi Sanchez. Miraculously, she managed to escape. In August of 2000, Curtis Dean Anderson was arraigned for the Mitzi Sanchez case. The trial for Curtis Dean Anderson on the Mitzi Sanchez case started on April 23rd of 2001. On May 10th of 2001, he was found guilty on all charges of kidnapping and sexually assaulting Mitzi Sanchez. On July 5th of 2001, a Solano County Superior Court Judge Alan P. Carter sentenced Curtis Dean Anderson to 251 years in prison for kidnapping and sexually assaulting 8-year-old Mitzi Sanchez on August 10th of 2000. In August 15th of 2000, a Contra Costa Times article states that Dina Stansbury's mother-in-law, Edna Stansbury, told reporters, and I quote, "She's been living in fear of him since. She had never had a free moment after he got back out of jail. She's been pretty happy at this point that they caught him," unquote.